she put in the tonic,
Yes.
and then a splash of soda,
Yes.
and it was good.
Delicious.
That's how I had my cucumbers yesterday.
I see.
Well, actually, by the time you're done, the cucumbers are just laying in the bottom of the glass.
Yeah, and they're now gin-infused cucumbers.
Gin-infused cucumbers.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Well, there's I do sometimes drink gin, and there's a particular gin called Hendrick's.
Okay.
Which actually, funnily enough, a great friend of mine invented when she worked in the U.S.
Really?
And she named it after a friend of hers by the name of David Hendricks because she had to come up with a name.
Why didn't she name it after herself?
I guess she's just not she's not like that.
I see.
I'm not going to call
so
it
she
Tracy
honored
or
her friend. Yeah, Tracy's. Yeah. That would have been a good name.
Yeah,
for
Tracy's.
It.
Yeah.
Sure.
So anyway, so I got a bit of a kick out of that. However, the first time I ever had Hendrick's gin, instead of putting lime or lemon in it, they put cucumber in it, and it's a very different experience.
They go together well.
They do.
Because I'm not the hugest fan of cucumbers. And I'm not the hugest fan of gin.
Right.
In fact, I have a nice little bar. I'm not drinking hardly anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't have gin.
Right.
Because I'm just not a fan of gin.
No.
And to be honest with you, when I got there, she said, I learned this recipe in Iceland. It's Icelandic G&T. I'm going to make you one. Oh. And I was, I didn't want to be rude and say I don't drink,
Yes.
And then I went, this is really actually pretty good.
Yeah. I think when you do something like that with it, it becomes something different, and it wasn't a super sweet drink, especially if you're cutting the tonic with the soda. So that was a good option, and we know that the spirits, sort of calorie wise, tend to be a bit better than like a pint of beer or something like that. I know you personally have not really been having that lately, but it's not a bad option, and a G&T is a bit of a it's quite a summery drink.
Yeah, and so the end result of all of that, Lianne, is that I have no report on whether I lost weight, gained weight, or whatever, because quite frankly, I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning, I got up at 4:30, I'm lucky to be here with pants on.
Thank God you are.
Okay, so that's my report.
Okay, then.
But anyway, if you're a person who likes a drink, there's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, lovely.
Good. And if you missed the recipe, jerry.agar@bellmedia.ca, and I'll send it to you.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I had enough of them that I memorized how to make it.
Excellent.
Even though I didn't make them.
Excellent.
I just watched.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about some stuff. Lots of listener questions about IBS.
Yes. Do you know what that is?
No.
So IBS is an acronym for Irritable Bowel Syndrome, not to be confused with IBD, which is Irritable Bowel Disease, which is more of like a Crohn's or a colitis situation.
I see. Okay.
So we're talking about symptoms which so many people suffer with, like abdominal cramping, pain, bloatedness, gassiness, diarrhea, constipation, and sometimes a bit of both on the same day at the same time. It can be really all over the place. So some of these symptoms do fall into the IBD category as well. That's normally diagnosed with endoscopy and all of those kind of things. So you'll know if that's something that you're dealing with. You'll be under your doctor. IBS just has a bunch of symptoms that kind of collect, and for some it can just be overwhelming. It really does. I have dealt with so many clients with IBS and have heard from so many people that there's situations where they won't eat until a certain time, because as soon as they eat, then it triggers the digestive system, and then they have a huge clear out. So if they know they're going to be somewhere, or they have a meeting or something like that,
right before a movie
or something, something professional, whatever it is, then they know I can't eat, or I can't do this. There are certain things that maybe trigger, or just eating, and that just gets things going. Some of my clients, they walk into a restaurant or someone's house, they scope out where the bathroom is, just because you never know.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily something that happens regularly. It can just happen. It's really, really a tricky one.
All right. And so this is a thing that you get it or you don't, but you could manage it? Well,
it actually affects women more, which brings up, is it something to do with hormones, time of the month, menopause, all of those different situations. But really, in my experience, managing it comes down to finding out what is living in the gut that shouldn't be there. When I practiced in England, because that's where I did all of my training, my nutrition training, I had a doctor that used to send me all of his IBS patients because his patients got better when I saw them. And we did a lot of testing. So we would do stool tests, not me personally, we'd send everything off to a lab.
Yeah.
And everything that came back, and I still do this in Canada, I do it a little differently with my sound work and sound therapy now. But every single IBS person came back with some sort of bacteria, a parasite, or fungus.
Okay.
And as soon as you deal with that, then the symptoms change. A lot of it has to do with diet as well. So a lot of people who take out sugar, gluten, dairy, any of those or all three, have a lot less symptoms because that's not triggering the bug and helping the bug or whatever it happens to be living in the gut to proliferate and all of those kind of things. Probiotics, as I talk about all the time, are huge because they can elbow out a lot of the bacteria, maybe hopefully get rid of the parasite. So when I see a client for IBS, and I still have a tremendous amount of IBS clients, then I'm looking at what is the issue, what's the underlying issue. Yes, you can change your diet and that can help you to feel better, but the clients that I've had are literally looking for the wash, they're really quite serious.
But this sounds like beyond what you as a nutritionist could bring. You should be seeing a doctor.
Oh, definitely. And everybody has seen a doctor.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be any medication that's helping. So with Crohn's colitis, you might be on steroids or something like that, and that can manage the situation. But without that diagnosis, without that inflammation that they see in the tests, then you're a bit stuck on what am I supposed to do? Because this is a really tricky situation. So on Facebook Live, I've been doing this for the past few weeks. Anybody watching, tuning in, there's some probiotics that I'm just holding up right now, and then I put this video up for other people to see because sometimes it's useful. There's 2 probiotics that I'm just showing on there, so that they can have a look. These 2 are the ones that I have found to have the most impact on my clients.
I want to read you a text.
Yes.
For instance, I don't know if I have IBS, but what I found that it eliminated a host of discomfort is a daily dose of Metamucil.
Okay, so that in as far as I know is a whole bunch of fiber.
Yeah.
So that slows down what's called the transit time. Transit time is from your mouth to the toilet. And you can find out your transit time by just eating corn. It's one of those things that don't digest.
Nice pairing there, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And then, so you eat some corn, and then you see when it ends up in the toilet, and then you know how long it takes. For most people, 12 hours to 24 hours is a good amount of time. Any longer than that, you're seriously constipated. Any faster than that, you're looking at more diarrhea. So once you have a bit of an idea, if you're trying to slow things down, more fiber is going to do that. You can go and eat an apple. You can go and have chia seeds, flax seeds, all of those kind of things. Metamucil is just another way to slow down that transit time through the digestive system. All
right, more in a moment. Lianne Phillipson is from SproutRight.com. NewsTalk 1010 and Alpine Credits want to approve your next improvement. Over 400 entries received so far. Everybody has big plans for the money. Home renovations, vacations. One person suggested we could pay the Liberal government $10,000 to resign. Hey, whatever your idea is, we're not saying that's going to be the winner. Don't hold back. Get creative. Spend $10,000 your way. One lucky listener's next big purchase approved by Alpine Credits and NewsTalk 1010. It's at newstalk1010.com. It's 11:16. NewsTalk 1010, time saver traffic.
A stall on the southbound side of 427.
People are hassling me. This one person ran in. Oh my God, Jerry, what's happening? First you hit on that guy from Murdoch Mysteries, and now you're going to cucumber parties. I didn't hit on him. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't. What happened?
Have you ever watched Murdoch Mysteries?
No.
Okay. His name is Yannick Bissell.
Okay.
He's been an actor here in Canada since he was 14.
Okay.
Toronto.
Yep.
Murdoch Mysteries might be the most successful Canadian television show ever produced. It's in 110 countries and territories.
Wow.
But he came in, and we had a really great conversation. Okay, their 11th season is starting up. And when he left, after he left, you're not hitting on people when they're no longer here. I said to Becky, okay, like, he's pretty good looking. And when you see him on television, you think, okay, he's good looking. But this is the thing that movie and television stars have. He just kind of shines. Like, there's just something about him, you know? And like, now, of course, people want to hassle me about saying.
Did you say that on the air then?
Well, yeah, we had the conversation on the air.
Oh, you and Becky, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Why do we eat corn if we can't digest it?
Don't know. Good question.
But
fiber.
It's not bad for you.
No, it's just something that really really needs to be chewed, and it is, the epitome of insoluble fiber.
Okay.
Like it just is.
You're just saying it becomes, you're using it as a marker.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just ask
Yeah.
people are asking, what were the probiotics?
Okay. When we come back, I can either mention them or tell them to.
Yeah. Well, I'll get you the
show
name.
them. I'll show you those. Because not everybody can see that. And I had to set that up because I had Facebooked about. There was a conversation on Facebook the other day, and somebody was asking about IBS, and then Becky sent
What's it called?
thing
Because I'm going to text these people.
Genestra HMF Intensive.
Genestra HMF
Intensive. They can get it. They can look at. There's more info on spurtright.com.
Turkish Airlines Sales Festival has begun. Buy your ticket until the 1st of October. Fly until March 31st.
Okay.
Discover the world with Turkish Airlines special fares. We
Good.
fly to more countries than any other airline.
What's all
For
this?
details, please visit turkishairlines.com or call your travel agent.
Hang on.
Turkish Airlines.
What?
Widen your
The
world.
image is reversed, and
Oh,
crap.
Kids,
Yeah, on
mortgage,
this,
credit
I
cards,
have to
taxes.
do something.
When the
Thank you
bills
for
pile
telling
up
me.
and creditors are phoning, call Goldhar and
let me just
Associates
find
for
it.
a free Shed the Debt consultation. As a licensed
There.
insolvency trustee,
No,
Goldhar can
sorry.
stop the creditor calls, stop the Canada Revenue Agency, and
I have to
negotiate
reverse
settlements of
it
your debts for
because-
pennies on the dollar. Call Goldhar now.
No.
Fast dial
There we
pound
go.
debt on
There
your
we go.
mobile
I think
phone.
that should do
That's
it.
pound 3328.
Let's try this.
Or visit
Thank you for telling me that.
shedthedebt.ca.
Or
Anywhere
reminding
in
me.
Ontario,
I did
visit
know about it.
Goldhar near you. We help.
This month, Acura is offering a $4,500 cash rebate on select 2017 MDX models. With standard Acura.
so
Watch
if you were watching it and you stuck a mirror up in front of the...
I know. It's annoying because when I have held up like granola bars and stuff like that before, everything is flipped.
Oh.
And then I had to Google it, and then
Yeah.
we found out, and I forgot to hit it.
Cash rebate
So,
on other select MDX models. Visit
Yeah, it's very
AcuraGTA.ca
difficult to read because
for
everything
details.
is flipped, so it's like it's
Precision,
mirrored.
crafted,
Yeah, so 24 things you should never even order out.
Yeah,
You have some favorites
I
on this
cut
list?
it. Yeah, I cut it down. There was a couple that were just a bit slightly no-brainers or whatever. So, so I'll text Jason. I think I have his phone number to text him
What
or
about
Facebook. They were in Leslieville before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Where's he going?
up around the Danforth, I guess.
Okay. Good for him.
Saw a picture of it.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I thought that would be fun because I had penciled in last night for our James game.
Yeah.
But didn't materialize, so whatever.
Yeah.
I had a networking event at the Drake Hotel instead.
Well, and I had this party
Yeah.
yesterday with...
Is that fun?
Yeah.
Good.
Met her brother, nice guy.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, I meant to ask, how was George?
Good.
Check
I can
out
tell
our
he's
low
lost
fares
weight.
and non-stop flights to
I
London
could
Gatwick
see...
at WestJet.com.
But you
or
know-
call your travel agent.
Hey,
It'll
it's
take a
Ryan
while to
Doyle.
tell us what
You've
it
heard
is.
about Northwood Mortgage on the radio for
Are you
years, but now you're
broadcasting
hearing
at
about
home?
them from me. I just went through the process of renegotiating
Well,
my
anyway.
mortgage
Yeah.
and kept thinking, am I getting the best rate possible?
Good.
Thankfully, the experienced agents at Northwood Mortgage are there to eliminate the confusion and help you understand the process. They've built
This
a
person
trusted,
says, I had
reliable
IBS, saw an
alternative in
osteopath,
GTA
and have not had a
for over
flare-up in 5
25
years.
Whether you're looking for that
Right.
first
All right, stand by.
Right.
Here we
Apple
come.
cider vinegar.
416-969-8130. Or
Okay.
Yeah. If we need more,
northwoodmortgage.com.
if we need to talk about more stuff, then we can.
I'm sorry?
If we need to talk about more stuff, we can do those.
Okay.
I have enough.
Weather. This is Jerry Agar. News Talk 1010.
It's a Motown Friday. I'm Jerry Agar. Lianne Phillipson is here from sproutright.com. So we were talking about people who've been writing into you here, listeners, about questions about IBS. And just to follow up, And Lianne will have all of this up on Facebook.
Yes, so on spurtright.com we're live streaming.
Yeah.
And then any questions you have, just put it underneath the post, and then I'll answer for you later.
But I just want to give you a few text messages here. First, you were talking about trying to figure out how your digestive system works from beginning to end. You eat it till you lose it out the other end. And you talked about having some corn because you can keep track of when. Okay. And somebody wrote, "Why do we eat corn if we can't digest it?"
Well, it's called fiber.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't realize it, and you just swallow whole pieces of corn, and then you happen to see it in the other end.
Yeah, if it's processed up or cornmeal or
ground
cornbread
up,
or something,
different.
You're not going to notice it.
It shows you. When my daughter was much younger, she would eat raisins, when she was a toddler, but she wouldn't actually chew them because she probably didn't have enough teeth. Well, she'd have a diaper full of raisins, so those kind of things. We have to chew our food really well, and quite often with corn anyway, that doesn't happen. Numbers of people writing in. What again was this probiotic that you recommend? Yes, so it's called HMF Intensive. It's a Genestro product. There's lots more info on spurtright.com, and there's one that's just a pill called HMF Intensive, and HMF Intensive 500 is 500 billion beneficial bacteria per dose, which is an insane amount. Really, who counted them? I know, exactly. I don't know how they do it.
More or less?
It's not me. Somewhere around there. Actually, when they process them, they put a lot more in there to allow for die-off. So anyway, there's a lot in there.
And one more question. Somebody writes, well, a couple of things. I had IBS, saw an osteopath, and have not had a flare-up in 5 years.
Great.
What's an osteopath?
So an osteopath is a manual body practitioner. So they work on your body a little like a chiropractor, but for much longer. So an osteopathic treatment lasts an hour. They're working on your whole body, not only your skeleton, not only all your bones, all of your organs, everything that covers them. It's a really full body treatment.
Sounds uncomfortable.
Not at all. No, it's quite amazing. So that doesn't surprise me. Osteopathy is a phenomenal. I refer clients to osteopaths all the time.
And one more, apple cider vinegar.
Yep, that's another.
Good for you?
So it's really one of those things that once you find what works for you and alleviates your symptoms, great. But still dig deeper. The functional testing that you can have done for IBS is much more sensitive than what you have done at the doctor's. I do different things like sound therapy to find out what it is. So there are ways to find out what the underlying problem is. All right. We won't have a lot of time for this. We only got a couple of minutes left here, but we found an article on stuff you should never order out when you eat out. Yep. Never order when you eat out. If you want to pick a couple of favorites off that list? Yes. So this is not only about calories, it's also about keeping your belly healthy and not pick up any of those bacteria. So medium rare burger was on the top, and I know we talk about burgers a lot, so I thought I'd talk about a couple of things that were more appropriate for you and I. So if you get asked, how would you like your burger, medium rare, all of those kind of things. It's very different to have an undercooked burger than it is to have like a medium rare steak. Right. On the outside of the steak, if there's the bacteria, that gets killed off. If you have ground beef and and maybe even it used to be steak, but it's ground, then that bacteria gets put all the way through, and if it's not cooked to the core, then you're likely to get that bacteria. So always have your burger medium or cooked through. No matter how you have your steak. No matter how you have your steak, that's different. Because sometimes some places, they do say, let's make sure that some places refuse to do it. Some places, I've been in places where my wife would like a medium rare burger, and they say, I'm sorry, we don't cook them that way. Right, okay. They will if you order a steak, but they won't. Sometimes even, I think, I can't remember where I was, someplace where they do like a chopped steak and put it all together. Same bacteria issue occurs. Okay, right? One more. The entree salad. So we've talked about this. What's wrong with the entree salad? So this is just one of those things, and we've talked about this before. So it seems a really great option to go for the salad, as you have been doing, but be careful about what you order. Some salads can be over 1,300 calories, for instance, because of the Oriental chicken Caesar salad with the sauce and with the sauce. This and all of those kind of things. So just be careful. And the size of an entree salad, it can be huge. So I brought in some salads. My favorite place in my hood, called the Sweet Potato, just opened a much larger space. So I nipped in there the other day for their grand opening. So here I have some salads. This one here is about 250 calories. I think, could you eat this in one sitting? I think I could. What do you think? I think Jerry could. I've been out for lunch with him. Yes. But these salads that I have here are not, how big is that? in what, 3 inches by 3 inches in one of those plastic boxes.
Oh no, it's bigger than that.
4, 5?
4 maybe.
Okay. So this has just got a whole bunch of vegetables. This one here that I have that the sweet potato makes themselves has got butternut squash in the bottom. So
I was hoping that was cheese.
Yeah, no, not quite. And then you've got one from the Live Food Bar, which is a protein bowl that they talk about, but it's only 250 calories.
Okay, we're running out of time, but more and more now, of course, you can just read that on the menu.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I was going to say. Check out the calories before you order.
Lianne Phillipson, sproutright.com, In-Depth Radio, NEWSTALK 1010.
It's almost over, but the outdoor party rages on with Saturday Night Football under the lights at BMO Field. Just $20 lets you witness